Courtney with the Writing Center at CU Denver. This online workshop is about the basics of rhetorical grammar. What is rhetorical grammar? Rhetorical grammar is more than just fixing grammatical errors. It's the art of using language purposefully and persuasively, thinking about whether you are using your sentences as effectively as possible to control the message that your reader receives. It's not just knowing the how of grammar, but the why and when. But alongside understanding grammar rhetorically, we must also understand how to use grammar correctly. To accomplish both, this 8-part workshop will first cover independent clauses, particularly how to recognize them and join them together. After that, we'll go on to dependent clauses, again, how to recognize them and combine them with independent clauses to create even more types of sentences. We'll then discuss how to recognize and write with modifiers like adjectives, adverbs, prepositional phrases, and transitions. And along the way, we'll discuss the effect each of these parts of a sentence has on your reader and common errors to avoid while you're writing. In our first lesson, we'll learn how to recognize one of the basic building blocks of a sentence, the independent clause. Why are independent clauses the basic building blocks of a sentence? Well, because one independent clause can stand all by itself, independently. We call this a simple sentence. An independent clause contains a subject, tied to a verb. They're linked together. To help you see this relationship from now on, subjects will be color-coded in red and verbs will be color-coded in blue. Subjects. They're composed of a noun, a single word, or a noun phrase, a noun or group of nouns, and the words that describe those noun or nouns. These nouns or noun phrases are the persons, things, or concepts that either do the action in the sentence or are in a state of being. We'll talk more about actions and states of being in a moment. Subjects can be a single noun like researchers or running, and we call these simple subjects. When we add modifying words to nouns, then the noun becomes a noun phrase, and we call it a complete subject. Modifying words can be small words like the, descriptive words like daily, or whole phrases like around the lake. So the simple subject running can be expanded into a noun phrase like running daily around the lake. Another kind of subject is a pronoun. Pronouns are more general words like they or it that stand in for more specific nouns. We can replace both simple and complete subjects with pronouns. So running, a noun, or running daily around the lake, a noun phrase, can both be replaced by it. This is a helpful test. If we can substitute a pronoun for a word or phrase, then we know it's a noun or a noun phrase. Okay, so what's a verb? A verb is a word or words that describes actions or states of being. There are many different kinds of verbs, but two of the most common categories are action verbs and linking verbs. Action verbs do exactly what you think. They express action. They are words that express an action we can picture. Linking verbs, on the other hand, don't express doable actions. Instead, they connect, or link, the subject to additional information about that subject. Let's look at a few examples. Some examples of action verbs are sneeze, read, test, play, or write. You can picture someone sneezing, testing a bacteria sample, or writing a book, so we know they are action verbs. Notice that after the verb, two of our examples have additional noun phrases coded in yellow, the bacteria sample and the color purple. Nouns and noun phrases not acting as the subject can appear in other places in the sentence, as objects, prepositional phrases, etc. We will code these in yellow from now on. Linking verbs, on the other hand, are those little verbs that we often overlook. The be verbs, is, are, was, were. Other common linking verbs are become, seem, feel, or remain. Notice how all of these aren't very action-packed. Someone becoming or seeming isn't as active as running or jumping. Instead, linking verbs connect the subject to additional information about the subject. In other words, they describe a state of being. We say states of being because they express a condition or situation that exists but no action is performed. For example, Stephanie is happy. Ising isn't something that Stephanie can do, but it expresses the way that Stephanie is. The linking verb connects Stephanie to additional information about her. In the second example, our verb is links our subject, running daily around the lake, to more information about that idea, a great way to start the day. This is another noun phrase, which in this case is an object. Linking verbs can link subjects to objects or to words that modify the subject, like adjectives. Don't worry, we'll talk more about adjectives later. So far in this module, we've learned that independent clauses are the basic building blocks of a sentence, and we learned how to recognize them by looking for simple and complete subjects tied to action or linking verbs. Now is your chance to practice what we learned. Please go to the next page of the module and complete the Identifying Independent Clauses quiz. Follow the instructions to practice what we covered in this lesson, and then move on to the next page of the module for Lesson 2 of the workshop, where we will discuss joining independent clauses.